Don't stand at the back of the stage with your hands in your pockets, looking around as though you wished you were anywhere but here.
Oh, you couldn't be more wrong, sir.
What? Forget it.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
You wanted the new album coming up?
Seriously, bro? Yo, stop talking to me.
Okay. All right.
See him.
I think in general, getting away from Diddy, and God bless him and whatever else he's dealing with, I don't beat people.
And I said, you got to be fibbing me. I didn't say that. That's horrible. And it's nothing to joke around about.
Ellen DeGeneres, Bill Nye, and Anna Kendrick all have one thing in common. They've all been accused of being absolutely awful behind the veil of Hollywood. So in the year 2020, at the time, current and former staffers began airing claims that Ellen had mistreated employees and fostered a toxic work environment on her very popular daytime show. And then celebrities started sharing their own stories about the comedian. So stars like Brad Garrett and Leah Thompson expressed some very negative sentiments towards Ellen, claiming her nice persona was a facade. And we'll get into that in a moment. While others, including Scooter Braun and Katy Perry, defended the star. And honestly, hindsight's 2020, Scooter Braun defending somebody is a bit of a red flag in my opinion. So let's dive into things. Starting with Brad Garrett, the Everybody Loves Raymond star. He called out the comedian via Twitter on July 31st of the same year, and he appeared on Ellen's show multiple times, so I think he's got a good grasp of things. So he shared the Variety article about the comedian. The one with the letter that was apologizing to staffers who felt disrespected, because in that letter, Ellen said that she hadn't been able to closely manage the show as it grew in recent years, and then Brad Garrett said, sorry, but it comes from the top, and tagged Ellen directly. He continued on to say that he knew more than one person who was treated horribly by Ellen, adding that her behavior was common knowledge. Oof. Let's go over to Leah Thompson, the Back to the Future star. So she added on to that message. She said that Ellen's mistreatment of others was common knowledge. She said this in a reply to People's Report about Brad's comment and said, true story, it is. She didn't elaborate and she didn't need to. Let's see, who else has something to say? Oh, when Mariah Carey appeared on The Ellen Show in 2008, Ellen was pushing her to announce her pregnancy. Now, Mariah said quietly that she didn't want to discuss that on television, and I respect that. So then Ellen asked her to toast with something instead. So Ellen asked her to toast instead, effectively forcing her to admit whether or not she was carrying, since if you're carrying, you're kind of advised against imbibing. And Mariah said, I can't believe you did this to me, Ellen. And then Ellen was like, well, let's toast to you not being pregnant, if you're not pregnant. Newsflash, folks, Mariah Carey sadly miscarried shortly after the interview. Now, a stylist from New York has outed her worst celebrity experience in a series of TikTok videos, and originally it had me wondering who an evil chick was. So the stylist's name is Tahira, and she discussed her experiences with famous people. Some were positive, others were extremely negative. She said in 2016, Pitch Perfect actress Anna Kendrick stopped by her store to prepare for a book signing. And according to the stylist, Anna Kendrick said that she would only wear their clothes for 10 grand. So the stylist said she wouldn't speak to me, which is strike one. She wouldn't say anything. Anna then gave a look to her PR lady, who took the stylist outside and repeated, if you guys want her to wear a look, it is 10 grand. Okay, folks, so if you don't know how Hollywood works, typically stylists give celebrities free outfits to wear in exchange for their promo of the outfit on social media, and obviously at the event. Sometimes stylists will even allow the celebrity to keep the style for free. But like, would you spend 10K just to have a celebrity wear one of your outfits to a book signing? Like, what outfit is even worth that much? So going back to the stylist, she revealed in a second TikTok video that she actually ran into Anna while working at Barney's department store years later, and she asked her colleague to work with her instead because she didn't want to deal with the attitude. And then, apparently after the colleague helped Anna, the colleague came back over and was like, do you have any idea who that is? And she's like, oh yeah, she's an actress. And the colleague was like, yeah, I have no idea who she is, but she just got so nasty with me. And it's like, girl, I get it, you're talented, but that's no reason to be rude to people. I'm sorry to break it to everybody, but I've heard nothing but bad things from anybody who's ever met Bill Nye. I know he's a hero to a lot of you, and it breaks my heart to say, but apparently it's a Hollywood open secret that the man is a total jerk. So when I was scouring Reddit for tea for today, user Braves Girl said they had a friend who apparently they were at some art show and Bill Nye was there, and it was an art show for like a younger demographic, and Bill was making fun of the artwork in front of the artists. And they said, and I quote, "What a jerk." User K80bot said that Bill Nye was a guest judge on a reality show that they were on back in 2014. He was a jerk and made some very comments to them about their engineering skills, which, like, ew, gross. They said both of those were two of the most arrogant people they'd ever encountered. The actual astronauts, on the other hand, were as down to earth as could be, which great for them, but also just like, Bill Nye, really? That's just so sad. So James Corden saw his career skyrocket when he brought the world carpool karaoke while hosting The Late Late Show, only for the public to turn on the talk show host, leading to a lot of folks to wonder, okay, what was going on? Why does everybody hate James Corden? There's a lot of stories that exist that call into question his off-camera personal conduct, which has been sadly widely documented by the media. Also, are we all forgetting the infamous and very uncomfortable encounter with Patrick Stewart at the 2010 Glamour Awards, where Sir Patrick Stewart told James Corden off for looking like he would rather be anywhere else? Also, it doesn't help that James Corden's performance in The Prom as a queer character was seen as very stereotypical and offensive, and his Golden Globe nomination for the role only heightened the outrage. And by the way, James Corden has been the recipient of criticism not just from folks like us, folks at home, but from a lot of significant industry workers, other than Sir Patrick Stewart. British TV director Craig Duncan worked with James Corden on the British game show The League of Their Own, where the host was ultimately telling the director how to direct, which, like, you don't do that, you don't do that. When speaking with the crew about how to capture the scene, James Corden apparently intervened, yelling, "What the F is going on here? It's obvious what you do. It's so obvious how you get it. It's stupid. Dude, that is not the move." This happened after the director had already observed James Corden ridiculing and embarrassing a writer. Which, by the way, James Corden was also reportedly very rude to the staff of quite a few of the projects he was involved in. So, when asked by Jimmy Fallon to name 2 members of his Late Late Show crew in the Spill Your Guts segment that he did once, he couldn't do it. He opted to drink a fish smoothie instead. Which, like, sir, you can't name 2 people on your crew? Come on. Famed restaurateur Keith McNally, who owns the Manhattan French place Balthazar, you know, the big restaurant, banned James Corden from his place in 2022 because McNally claimed the host was rude to the waiting staff on not 1 but 2 separate occasions. Apparently, James Corden demanded all these freebies and he threatened to post bad reviews, and it was just really icky. During an interview with comedian Theo Vaughn, Roseanne Barr once said, "Nobody passed away in the mass extinction event of the 1930s and 40s. That's the truth." And hey, as if casual major world event denial wasn't horrific enough for her, she immediately escalated her rhetoric, saying, "It should happen. People should pass away right now, because they cause all the problems in the world. But it never happened." I'm sorry, that statement made my jaw hit the floor. She, once upon a time, decided to do this really gosh awful interpretation of the national anthem. She got kicked off of the reboot of her own sitcom with a very awful tweet about former White House advisor Valerie Jarrett. She championed problematic conspiracy theories during the crazy world events a couple years back, and I think that's everything I can say without getting thrown off the internet. Because it only gets worse from there, folks. Blake Lively, Joaquin Phoenix, J-Lo, and so many more folks have been canceled this year. So Justin Baldoni did try to put chatter of a feud with Blake Lively to bed after the rumor mill went into overdrive about the potential tension between the pair earlier this year. The rumors began following the New York City premiere of their film, It Ends With Us, when fans noticed that the two weren't posing together on the red carpet. While Blakely was photographed with her husband Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and nobody knows why he was on the red carpet, and her co-stars Jenny Slate and Brandon Sklenar, Justin was seen appearing on the red carpet solo, maybe on occasion with his wife. Now, fans of Blake Lively noticed she wasn't following him on Instagram. Actually, none of the cast members were. Now, obviously, an Instagram follow isn't exactly concrete evidence, but it does raise eyebrows when you're trying to promote a film. In an interview with Entertainment Tonight, Justin said that Blake should direct a sequel to the film, saying, and I quote, "I think Blake Lively's ready to direct. That's what I think." There was another interview where he talked about working with complex personalities on set, saying every movie is a miracle, and then of course you're navigating complex personalities and trying to get everybody on the same page with the same vision, and mistakes are always made, and then you figure out how to move past them. Blake Lively dodged a question about building trust with Baldoni as a scene partner. She said, this movie was such a challenge because you have scenes that are deeply painful and traumatic and physical, but you also have scenes that are full of levity and light and romance. And normally when I see this type of character on screen, you know what's gonna happen, and you're like, oh, that guy's full of red flags. Now, Blake was a co-executive producer on the movie, and she revealed that Ryan Reynolds wrote a pivotal scene of the film, which, ruh-roh, she said, oh yeah, the iconic rooftop scene, my husband actually wrote it. Nobody knows, but like now you do. She's like, oh yeah, he works in everything I do, I work in everything he does. So like, his wins, his celebrations are mine and mine are his. Well, sure, yeah. All of this painted Blake Lively in a negative light as she promoted the movie also as a romantic comedy and not what it really was. In an interview, she was asked what she would say if anyone out in the public were to talk to her about the issues the movie shows, and she's like, oh, it'd be like asking for my address, my phone number, or like my location share. You're talking about a film with heavy subject matter, and why are you not discussing the heavy subject matter? A lot of folks said that she was out of touch, and it created a lot of negative discussion, saying that Blake Lively ignored the domestic harm issue that the movie features, focused on her own personal gains. She was also promoting her hair care line at the same time as the premiere, which received some negative criticism, and rightfully so. No matter how much Jennifer Lopez tries to stay out of drama, the fashionista seems to be constantly taking the blame for other people's struggles. Most recently, the passing of a TikToker, Kyle Marissa Roth, is being pinned on JLo. And the story is interesting, albeit sad. So the content creator sadly lost her life on April 15th after a battle with colon cancer. And a lot of folks on social media were quick to point fingers at JLo. So on her TikTok page, Roth shared celebrity gossip content, sometimes posting about Jenny from the block. And according to past videos, JLo's negative reaction to this had a direct impact on her income, particularly after Roth's account was banned after she used footage from the multi-talents film about growing up in the Bronx, the greatest love story never told. The late entertainer said that Lopez's narcissism single-handedly crushed her small business, leaving her unable to download or save content that had gotten her billions of views, saying JLo has cost me more than 4 figures of income just for March 2024, Roth alleged after making a new account. Losing out on money is hard for anyone, but she mentioned that she passed away of colon cancer, it's on her. She said that a week before she passed away. Little ominous. Dave Grohl has experienced his fair share of relationship drama while in the public eye, including multiple cheating scandals. So, snowboarder Tina Bassick dated Grohl for 2 years in the 90s. Following their split, she alleged that he was seeing another woman during their relationship, and she recalled him being like busy while they dated. She wrote about this in her 2003 memoir, Pretty Good for a Girl, the autobiography of a snowboarding pioneer. She cited his career as a point of contention between them. Despite trying to get details from Dave Grohl, the athlete wrote that he told her nothing and broke things off. She's like, all I got was a 5-minute phone call from him after 5 weeks of me calling and trying to get a hold of him because I just had to know if these rumors were true and I had to hear it straight from the source. So the Foo Fighters rocker has been married twice, and he has stepped outside of his marriage both times. He and first wife Jennifer Lee Youngblood married in 1994. And he said, when I met my wife, we went out on a few dates. I decided I wasn't ready for a serious relationship, so I just stopped calling. After 3 months, I had a revelation and called her back. She picked up the phone and said, oh, I thought I'd never hear from you again. The pair finalized their divorce in 1997 after he admitted to infidelity. He moved on and tied the knot with current wife Jordan Bloom in 2003. They share 3 daughters, Violet, Harper, and Ophelia. But in September of 2024, the singer admitted to cheating once again, revealing that he had fathered a daughter outside of his marriage in an Instagram statement. I think most folks have moved on a little too quickly from all the awful stuff Joaquin Phoenix has done in recent history. Most notably when he dropped out of a gay romance film just 5 days before filming was set to start in Mexico after just getting cold feet over the project. So he was set to play an on-screen lover opposing Danny Ramirez in this 1930s. Joaquin Phoenix developed the screenplay for the detective love story with Haynes and John Raymond, with a source saying the actor had trepidation over the project amid rumors he was uncomfortable with the film's graphic scenes, although other sources counteract that he's the one who brought the project to the director initially. Haynes told Variety in September 2023 that Joaquin began creating the film with fragments of ideas. Basically, it was just this wonderful, organic way to create the script, and Joaquin was the one pushing it further into more dangerous territory, specifically of that nature. The film was set to be rated NC-17 and feature a relationship that would challenge audiences. Entire sets had been built before he exited the film. So this film kind of hinged on his casting. It had already been pitched to international distributors. His role cannot be recast. The crew is out of work and stakeholders still need paying. That's not getting cold feet, my dude. That's putting an entire team of hardworking people out of work and also harming the chances of more risky projects in this vein getting the necessary support that they'll need in the future. Brooke Schofield has issued an apology after resurfaced tweets showed the influencer defending George Zimmerman over the passing of Trayvon Martin. The TikTok star, who co-hosts the popular Canceled podcast with Tana Mojo, shared a nearly 4-minute video on August 3rd where she addressed the very insensitive tweets that she posted between 2012 to 2015. In a clip, a tearful Brooke described her past opinions as disturbing, wrong, horrible, and disgusting. She attempted to explain her mindset at the time that she made the tweets, noting that she was living with her grandparents, and she said that, as is true for a lot of grandparents, they're a bit less progressive than a lot of us are now. She said that her grandfather was a right-wing conservative, and the only thing that she had ever been exposed to were conservative political commentators and news outlets. She said that she still should have known better. She mentioned that sometimes you have these people that you put on a pedestal, and you think everybody older than you is smarter than you and knows everything, and they do not. She acknowledged that it wasn't until after college that she began to shift her way of thinking. She apologized for not addressing the tweets sooner. She explained that she thought it would cause more harm to bring them to light again. And she said, "I'm very, very sorry to anybody who was hurt by the tweets, because obviously they are very hurtful."
Hollywood has covered up so many different scandals, but the biggest one happening right now has to do with Diddy. Now, Diddy has finally been exposed for his crime ring and how he treated his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. But apparently all of this was just an open secret in Hollywood, which is honestly really messed up. Now, a lot of celebrities have been to Diddy's parties and engaged in who knows what while there. I mean, multiple celebs have spoken out against Diddy, saying that they don't go to Diddy parties and that you just have to tell the man no over and over, which is honestly just so sketchy, and it's just like, why didn't anyone put a stop to this sooner? Now, Kanye West knew all about this allegedly, and in a 2022 interview, he claimed that Diddy was actually working with law enforcement as an informant, and that's why he was able to get away with what he did. Is this credible? No, not really, not at all, but it is something to think about. Not to mention, Diddy is friends with some very powerful people like Jay-Z and Beyonce, Oprah Winfrey, and the Kardashians. In 2023, Diddy's ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura filed a lawsuit against Diddy that was promptly settled the next day. Then on February 26, 2024, music producer Rodney Jones filed a lawsuit against him as well. On March 25th of this year, Homeland Security investigations served search warrants in the early morning raids on Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. Diddy was then arrested last week after being accused of criminal activity going back to at least 2008. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges and wanted to be released on bail, but a judge denied his request. We'll now just have to wait and see what happens, but it appears everyone who was a part of this or helped cover it up will be exposed. Oscar-winning director Roman Polanski was expelled from the Academy in 2018, as the expulsion came more than 40 years after a horrendous legal incident. In 1977, he was convicted of a serious crime, but he fled the United States before being jailed. Now, since he fled the country before sentencing, legally he still has to answer for all charges. But due to this, he can never come back to the United States, because if he ever does, he will be arrested. Now, one of the big problems is that numerous big shots in the movie industry have already written countless petitions asking to pardon Roman, which is honestly disgusting. Now, more than 100 people in the film industry, including Woody Allen, Martin Scorsese, David Lynch, Wes Anderson, Harrison Ford, among many others, signed a petition in 2009 calling for his release. Now, on October 30th, 2015, a Polish judge denied a request by the United States to extradite Roman, so it appears he'll never face the justice his victims deserve. Now, Woody Allen and Mia Farrow began dating in 1980 and were together for 12 years until their split. Now, during that time, the couple adopted 2 children, Dylan and Moses Farrow, and had 1 biological child, Ronan Farrow. Now, Mia and Woody split in 1992, shortly before Woodley publicly revealed that he was dating Suni Previn, Mia's 21-year-old daughter she had adopted with her ex-husband, Andre Previn. Woody began dating his technical stepdaughter. Now, Mia reportedly learned of this relationship early in 1992 when she discovered some photographs of Soon-Yi in Woody's apartment. Now, the two started dating when she was 21 years old, and they married 6 years later when Soon-Yi was 27 and Woody was 62. Now, when asked about his affair, Woody responded by saying, "The heart wants what it wants, there's no logic to those things. You meet someone and you fall in love, and that's that." Ronan Farrow said it best when describing his family dynamic, "He's my father father married to my sister, that makes me his son and his brother-in-law. Now, this is all just so crazy because it seems like no one really cares about this, which is just insane. The situation is just so icky, not to mention Woody has been accused of committing some other crimes too, but people still continue to be in his movies and support him. Alfred Hitchcock was an interesting man to say the least, but what people didn't really know was that there was a dark side to him. Now, his first of many recorded instances of actor mistreatment occurred on the set of his film The 39 Steps. He would announce lead actress Madeleine Carroll's presence on set by yelling, "Bring on the Birmingham tart," and would leave her handcuffed to her co-star for hours on end, claiming to have lost the key. Now, he took pleasure in agitating his actresses with crude sexual jokes, and even going as far as making up a story about sleeping with Ingrid Bergman and having actress Janet Leigh filmed in the shower for a 6-day shooting period for Psycho. But by far the worst was his treatment of lead Tippi Hedren while shooting The Birds. Now, Hitchcock became infatuated with her, and after she refused some of his advances, he had live birds attached to her instead of mechanical ones for the shooting of a scene, which ultimately required her to be hospitalized. Later, Hitchcock's demands led to a horrible fight, according to Tippi. She then told him Marnie would be their last film together, and later recalled how Hitchcock told her he would destroy her career. He said, "I'll ruin your career," and he did ruin my career. He kept me under contract and paid me to do nothing for close to 2 years. Now, Tippi said this essentially ruined her career as a leading lady, and it's such a shame. Now, everyone knows about Britney Spears' meltdowns in 2006 and 2007. Now, amidst her split from Kevin Federline, she shaved her head and was sworn by paparazzi at a gas station, and in retaliation, she smashed a photographer's car with an infamous green umbrella. Now, later, at the beginning of 2008, she was put on a 5150 hold in the hospital. A week after this, she was sent back to the hospital on a 5150 hold, and her father Jamie was granted temporary conservatorship over the star. Now, in July that year, he requested for it to be extended, which it was. 2 years before the temporary court-ordered conservatorship was supposed to see its end, a judge then ruled that Jamie would retain control over his daughter for an indefinite period. Speaking of this period of time in her memoir, Britney said, "Even though I begged the court to appoint literally anyone else, and I mean anyone off the street would have been better, my father was given the job. And the court told me I was demented, and I wasn't even allowed to pick my own lawyer." Soon after the conservatorship was in place, she said her father said, "I just want to let you know, I call the shots, you sit right there in the chair and I'll tell you what goes on," she recalled. "I looked at him with a growing sense of horror. I'm Britney Spears now," he said. Britney also spoke out about that 13-year conservatorship as she hit out on her dad Jamie in the explosive memoir, as she opened up about the unrelenting control her family had over her, which, looking back, makes her feel sick. Now, people in Hollywood knew about this but didn't do anything. Finally, in 2019, fans started to realize that something was wrong, and they created the Free Britney movement. With fans backing Britney up, she felt like she finally had a voice and requested the conservatorship to end. Now, she and her father appeared in court multiple times over the year, and on November 12, 2021, the conservatorship was officially over. Now, so many people knew what was going on and directly profited off the whole situation though, which is just gross. And finally, a lot of people know that Judy Garland was treated poorly in the industry, but not that many people know the extent of it. She signed with MGM when she was just a teen, and she appeared on screen in the 1936's Pigskin Parade, a musical comedy about college football coaches. At that point, MGM execs were already bugging her about her weight. They told her she looked like a fat little pig with pigtails and placed her on a forced diet, something that would continue on in her career. The studio restricted her calories so heavily that she unfortunately fell into cycles of starving and binging. In 1938, an MGM exec told her that she was so fat she looked like a monster, and when she was 18, Louis Mayer himself allowed her to consume only black coffee and chicken soup, along with 80 cigarettes and diet pills every 4 hours to reduce her appetite. Now, this kept the weight off, but anytime she stopped dieting, her weight would skyrocket. Studio managers would send memos on her daily eating, including notes like Garland gained 10 pounds, costumes refitted, and Judy sneaked out between takes 7 and 8 this afternoon and had a malted milk. Now, poor girl, as she was treated absolutely horrible by MGM.
Internet sleuths think that Barry Keoghan's ex, Allison Sandro, is trying to tell us something after analyzing some of her recent social media likes. According to BuzzFeed, Sandro, who shares an offspring with Barry, liked to comment on a recent photo of her and the son that read, "More appreciation for mothers raising their kids practically by themselves. My mom was my hero. You're already his hero too." She also liked various comments on the same post that praised her for doing it all herself. Now that news came just days after Sabrina Carpenter released her music video for Please Please Please, which featured steamy scenes with none other than Barry. Also, we're not super sure if Barry's still her boyfriend, because it kind of seems to depend on who you ask and the time of day. Like on Saturday, August 17th, Barry seemed to offer a subtle response to the rumors that the split had happened. This whole story was circulated heavily by gossip Instagram account DeGeneres, who said the breakup was recent. Well, after that, the Irish actor was on Instagram liking one of Sabrina's recent posts. Around August 27th, he hinted that he and Sabrina might still be involved. There was a very flirty Insta comment. There was a post of Sabrina and Jenna Ortega from the Taste music video. They were like brat dolls, really cute, and he's like, "Can I have one?" Now, to be fair, Sabrina Carpenter has alluded to them having an undefined relationship in an interview with Rolling Stone, because when she was asked if she refers to him as her boyfriend, she's like, "How do I skirt around this question?" It's just so confusing. Reports of Sabrina Carpenter and Camila Cabello's alleged feud involving the latter's ex Shawn Mendes has greatly intrigued a lot of fans. Now, these rumors were sparked by the recent release of Sabrina Carpenter's album Short and Sweet, and upon its release, the singer's fans analyzed the lyrics of two of her tracks, Coincidence and Taste, speculating that they referenced both Mendes and Cabello. The alleged Sabrina Carpenter and Camila Cabello feud talk boils down to two verses. So, allegedly, she's calling out Shawn Mendes for cheating on her with his ex-girlfriend, Camila. So Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello dated for 2 years, 2019, 2021. It was like off again, on again, off again, off again. The coincidence verses go like this. The second I put my head on your chest, she knew. She's got a real sixth sense. Now her name comes up once, then it comes up twice, and without her even being here, she's back in your life. Now she's in the same damn city on the same damn night. All right, you're good? Verse 2. Last week you didn't have any doubts. This week you're holding space for her tongue in your mouth. Trying to turn the past into the present tense. Sucking up to all your mutual friends. Meanwhile, the Taste chorus, where she also seems to invoke Cabello, goes like this. I heard you're back together, and if that's true, you'll just have to taste me when he's kissing you. If you want forever, I bet you do. Just know you'll taste me too. Well, right around this time, Camila Cabello released a TikTok video singing some lyrics from her song June Gloom. These lyrics seem to parallel the lyrics from Taste and Coincidence, and the comment section included a lot of references to Sabrina Carpenter and this whole love triangle. So Sabrina and Shawn initially sparked dating rumors back in February 2023, and this was after once again DeGeneres claimed the two were spotted on a dinner date in LA, and then they were spotted hanging out together in LA again, but this time US Weekly had the scoop. They also attended Miley Cyrus's album release party and were spotted leaving the event together. The rumors only intensified when fans noticed Shawn Mendes wearing a necklace bearing Sabrina Carpenter's birthstone. Entertainment Tonight finally confirmed that they were seeing each other, but then things got complicated when Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello were spotted kissing each other at Coachella 2023. So then rumors were swirling online. They're like, oh, are they getting back together? Because that would kind of explain the verses that we mentioned a moment ago. Well, Camila Cabello addressed the rumors in March of this year during an appearance on the Call Her Daddy podcast. That's where she confirmed that her and Shawn tried to make things work, but eventually realized it didn't feel right. And the most recent update to this drama happened at the VMAs last week. In a seemingly innocent Instagram caption, Shawn wrote, "Pulling up to my own funeral." Okay, yep, that's how you describe the VMAs, I suppose. Why did he say this? Well, both ex-girlfriends were waiting for him. Camila shared a similar sentiment, telling Billboard before the show, "I'm kind of having a funeral today for everything that is negative, everything that doesn't serve me. Death to the things that are negative, death to the people and the situations that try to bring you down." Oh, bother. And also, this was like so crazy. I have no idea how this next thing happened. Like maybe all their stylists coordinated. So we've got Sabrina in this stunning white gown. Thank you, Madonna. Camila Cabello is in this very dark gown. She made her hair dark again. And they're kind of echoing the Taste video, which is one of the songs I referenced earlier, and it's a little wild. Also, by the way, in the video, Sabrina and Jenna, who was in the video, they attended their ex-boyfriend's funeral. Yeah, okay. Leaning into the homewrecker angle was something pretty incredible from Sabrina. She looked so good on stage, and then Camila was like, okay, I gotta bring the heat after all of this, and she did that. She performed June Gloom. Yeah, that song that's rumored to be about her and Shawn's reconciliation. And then she switched up the tempo with Godspeed, and it was just like absolutely chaotic. Also, she literally smashed up a laptop on stage, and people were like, okay, why does that have anything to do with anything, but then there's a bit of a theory floating around online. You might think nothing of this, but I personally remember a very famous laptop featured in the midst of all of this drama. Need I say more? Olivia Rodrigo made headlines in January of 2021 after releasing her debut single, Driver's License. The hit song resonated with her fans, and also resonated with Taylor Swift, but it also caused a lot of folks to think that it was about rumor drama between her, Joshua Bassett, and Our Lady of the Hour, Sabrina Carpenter. Eagle-eyed fans pointed out that Rodrigo changed the lyrics from her 2020 teaser track from brunette to blonde, seemingly referencing the Girl Meets World alum in one verse. The lyrics are, "And you're probably with that blonde girl who always made me doubt. She's so much older than me. She's everything I'm insecure about." And that kind of really hints at Sabrina Carpenter's hair color and the fact that she is 3 years older than Olivia Rodrigo. So this track came out 6 months after Joshua Bassett released the song Anybody Else, which also appeared to be about this whole situation. The lyrics from this one: "How am I supposed to think about anything else? How am I to go on keeping this to myself? I am done pretending I want anybody else, anyone else, anyone else." And he later confirmed that the track was written about falling for a friend who was unavailable. Going back to Olivia Rodrigo, her lyrics: "I just can't imagine how you could be so okay now that I'm gone. Guess you didn't mean what you wrote in that song about me." And although there's never really been a concrete statement about being romantically involved, fans are pretty sure that Rodrigo and Bassett were an item. The Stuck in the Middle alum, however, seemed to move on with Sabrina Carpenter after the pair were spotted at a protest together in LA. So Joshua Bassett and Sabrina Carpenter have dropped songs of their own, kind of hinting that they were the source of inspiration for Driver's License. Joshua Bassett, January 2021, the song titled Lie, Lie, Lie. It came out 1 week after Olivia Rodrigo's song. "I know what you say about me. I hope that it makes you happy. You can't seem to get me off your mind." Yeah, allegedly this is in response to Olivia Rodrigo, where it's like, "Oh, I know you're lying through your teeth. You told them the lies that you told me. I've had enough of it this time." Well, you know, and also in the music video, he's seen driving alone in a car, which is also kind of a tribute to Driver's License. Allegedly, he said he wrote Lie, Lie, Lie after he found out a friend had been lying about him behind his back for a long time. And he said this all on Insta, by the way. He's like, "Oh yeah, it always sucks to hear that somebody you thought you could trust would throw you under the bus, but it benefits them." He went on to say, "It happens to all of us, and I think all you can do is seek out people that build you up rather than tear you down," which is a very positive way of looking at things. Britney Spears has some questions for Sabrina Carpenter after her otherworldly performance at the VMAs. Spears took to Instagram on September 12th to share her thoughts on Carpenter's medley of her hits Espresso, Please Please Please, and Taste, noting that while she didn't watch the awards ceremony in full on September 11th, she did see clips on YouTube. As Carpenter performed that medley of her breakout hits at the awards ceremony, there were 2 backing dancers, one dressed as an alien and one as an astronaut that joined her on the Mars-inspired set on stage. Well, at one point, Carpenter grabbed the alien and made out with the dancer, pushing away the astronaut who had been courting the extraterrestrial character on stage. Now, this kiss referenced her recent music video for her single Taste, where she kissed Jenna Ortega, but Britney Spears was like, "Why is she kissing an alien on stage? I love her, I adore her to death, but I didn't understand that part. Why didn't she kiss a girl? That was weird." But hey, the pop star went on to gush over Sabrina, giving her a shout out on the red carpet. She's like, "This Sabrina girl, she said my name on the red carpet, and I thought that was kind of cool, because I forget I'm famous sometimes, but that was kind of cool." How this all comes together is that Britney Spears famously kissed Madonna and Christina Aguilera on stage at the VMAs back in 2003. So all we need now is a Christina reference from Sabrina to Ted's Together, minus, you know, performing with her soon.
Some celebrities are so full of themselves, it's actually insane. Now, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle had quite the year in 2023, and even though it appears that they've been laying low in 2024, the pair have still been causing drama with the royal family. Now, since Harry left the royal family, he's been very open about what his life was like, as he and Meghan did an explosive interview with Oprah Winfrey. They released a 6-part docuseries on Netflix, and Harry even released his own memoir called Spare, which is kind of funny because they claim to have left the royal family due to privacy reasons, but then they went and put themselves in the spotlight even more. Now, during all 3 of these releases, the couple became the center of attention as they spilled a lot of secrets, which the royal family wasn't too happy about. One of the main themes in all of this was how Meghan was being mistreated and Harry wanted to protect her, and that ultimately that's why they left the royal family. Now, the royal family has gone through a lot this year, as it was announced that Harry's father, King Charles, is battling cancer, and then shortly after it was announced that Kate Middleton had cancer too. Now, Harry only went to see his father once for 30 minutes after he found out about the diagnosis, and has since not seen his father nor Kate. And Meghan, well, she's just staying away from from the UK in general. You'd think maybe the couple would want to put their differences aside when it comes to sick family members, but apparently not, which is a shame. Now this year, Drake and Kendrick Lamar got into some major rap beef that went on for weeks. Now Kendrick won this hands down, and the whole internet turned against Drake. Now during this feud, it appeared that someone in Drake's team was leaking things to Kendrick as he had insider information. It was made clear that there was some sort of leak in Drake's team and that he couldn't trust anyone. Now Kendrick put out Meet the Grams, and the cover art is photos of Drake's belongings, and it was most likely taken from inside his own house. Now that is just insane. It was filled with receipts and prescription drugs, including the weight loss drug Ozempic, which Drake has been accused of taking. Then there's some pretty other shocking things too in the photo, but those don't follow the YouTube guidelines for me to be able to talk about them. Now the cover art wasn't the only shocking thing though. In the song, Kendrick addresses his verses to Drake's son, Adonis, and Drake's parents. "Dear Adonis, I'm sorry that man is your father," he bluntly opens the track. Now it was also just announced that Kendrick will be performing at the Super Bowl halftime show in 2025. He'll have the entire world singing about hating Drake and how much of a creep he is, so I think it's safe to say that Kendrick won this battle and Drake should just give up. Now last year, Jonah Hill was exposed by his ex-girlfriend of mistreating her and just being a bad boyfriend. Sarah Brady dated him in 2021 and finally spoke out about her experience with the star and even provided some screenshots for proof. Now Jonah seemed to be uncomfortable with Sarah being a model, as he said it was the last profession I would want to be with as a partner in one of the texts. "Keep taking me for granted, go model, it's a fulfilling life," he said. Now let me just say, if he didn't want to date someone who models, then maybe he shouldn't have dated a model. Crazy, right? Then in another text, Jonah tried to get all therapist talk with her, laying out his relationship boundaries. It included surfing with men, boundaryless inappropriate friendships with men, modeling, posting photos in a bathing suit, posting sexual pictures, and having friendships with women who are in unstable places. Now the thing is, these aren't boundaries though, they're just demands and rules that he has, which is just gross. Now thankfully a lot of people called him out for this, and I'm glad Sarah felt brave enough to share these to the world, but wow, I will never look at Jonah Hill the same ever again. Now in Britney Spears' memoir, The Woman in Me, Britney spoke about her relationship with Justin Timberlake. She dated fellow pop star Justin from 1999 to 2002, and Britney revealed in her memoir that she terminated her pregnancy when she became pregnant with Justin's child. It was a surprise, but for me it wasn't a tragedy. I love Justin so much. I always expected us to have a family together one day, she wrote. But Justin definitely wasn't happy about the pregnancy. He says we weren't ready to have a baby in our lives, that we were way too young. Now she went on to describe the termination procedure as one of the most agonizing things I've ever experienced in my life. It was also an at-home termination. She didn't go to a clinic as she didn't want anyone finding out. She then also revealed that she knew that Justin had cheated on her a couple of times throughout their relationship. Now this turned a lot of people against Justin, but just a couple months ago, it appears that Justin got some karma. Justin was arrested for allegedly driving intoxicated in the Hamptons. Justin was at the American Hotel partying, and almost immediately after he left and began driving, he blew a stop sign. Cops saw that and began to follow him, and it's then been said that Justin began swerving and the cops pulled him over. The police performed a field sobriety test and asked Justin to take a breathalyzer test, but he refused. As for the traffic stop, law enforcement sources said cops observed Justin glassy-eyed, and they said he smelled of alcohol on his breath. Now they say that he failed the field sobriety test when asked to do a one-leg stand and walk and turned. Justin was then arrested and ultimately charged with misdemeanor driving while intoxicated, and his mugshot immediately went viral, and everyone was applauding Britney Spears for this, which honestly, they should. Now, in my opinion, Kanye West always needs to be humbled and cancelled because he's always up to something. Now, what has he done recently that's worth cancelling? Well, he's facing a lawsuit for punching a fan in the face. The incident happened in 2022 when a fan approached Kanye in public. Kanye wasn't having any of it though and yelled, "Get the F out of here before I beat the F out of you," and threatened to make an effing example out of the fan. Now, I understand not wanting to take pictures or sign autographs, but this This was just incredibly rude. Then things escalated as Kanye allegedly punched him several times and severely injured the fan. Now the fan is suing Kanye for assault, battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligence, and loss of consortium. Now to be honest, I don't even know why or how Kanye has fans anymore if he treats them like that. Then there's also the way he's been treating his wife Bianca Censori. Kanye is her stylist, deciding what clothes she wears, or should I say lack thereof. Now Bianca is always half dressed in ridiculous clothes. Kanye is really humiliating her with all of this. At first it was shocking, even a little bit funny, but now it's just sad and people are worried for her. Again, why people like Kanye, I have no idea, but I feel like he's proven over and over again that he's just not a good person. And finally, at the end of January, Nicki Minaj had a feud with Megan Thee Stallion, except it seems like it was only one-sided. Nicki wrote a song about Meg with the lyrics, "Bad B, she like 6 foot, I call her Bigfoot," she says on the track. "The B fell off, I said get on your good foot," she said, seemingly referring to the fact that Megan was shot in the foot by Tory Lanez in 2020. At Lanez's trial in 2022 where he was found guilty, Meg was treated horribly online and Nicki just added to that. Now pretty much everyone is team Megan, and by showing their support to her, some people have found some not good things about Nicki. It appears that she's broke. Yeah, her bank paperwork got leaked and the paperwork shows that Nicki is broke because she has liens on her publishing music and her tour deal. She's alleged to have blown her advance from her last tour, and now this, her present tour, is collateral. Now artists make 85% of their income from touring and merchandising, and to have a line means that you are not doing well financially. Now last week, in a new interview with Billboard, Megan said, "I still to this day, I don't know what the problem is, I don't even know what could be reconciled, because to this day I don't know what the problem is," in regards to Nicki and the feud. Now safe to say that Nicki is going a little crazy here and maybe just needs to step back and reevaluate her actions. Oprah Winfrey has not been in the public's good graces recently, as she's been exposed for taking weight loss medication and caring more about herself than others. Now starting off, we have her school. The Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls opened in Johannesburg in 2007. Now this was one of Oprah's passion projects. She founded it with $40 million of her own money, and she even hand-selected the 152 students who attended. Everything seemed perfect until it wasn't. Oprah seemed to handpick the students, but it turns out she didn't do a good enough job when it came to hiring the staff. Less than a year after the school had opened, 6 students came forward to accuse dorm matron Virginia Tani Mekagobo of mistreating them. Virginia pleaded not guilty and her trial was ongoing. She was arrested in November 2007 and released on bail, and she faced 17 different charges. "It has shaken me to my core," Oprah said, of returning to South Africa with a team of private detectives to investigate the allegations and personally speak with the girls. "This has been one of the most devastating, if not the most devastating experiences of my life," she said. Now in the end, Oprah fired all the matrons no matter what. Now following the first trial, Oprah was sued by the headmistress of the school for defamation. She alleged that Oprah defamed her by implying that she was covering up the mistreatment going on at the school. However, this case was later settled outside of court before the arranged trial, according to CNN. Now that's not all that happened there though. Speculation of numerous missing girls from the academy spread like wildfire across social media, and then in March of 2007, some parents complained because they were only allowed to visit their children once a month, and the girls were only allowed to use their cell phones on the weekends. One parent said, "It's a nightmare, we had only 2 hours to see my child, surely this isn't a prison or an institution." Another mother said her homesick daughter was very upset over the rules. "Michelle phones me in tears sometimes, and then I don't know what to say to her," she said. The school is currently still running, but I hope the girls are being treated better than they were before. Now, Oprah has always been made fun of for her weight, which is honestly just a shame. "It was public sport to make fun of me for 25 years. I have been blamed and shamed, and I blamed and shamed myself," she said. Now one hurtful moment early in her career was when she landed on fashion critic Mr. Blackwell's list. "I was on the cover of some magazine and it said dumpy, frumpy, and downright lumpy," she said. "I didn't feel angry, I felt sad, I felt hurt, I swallowed the shame, I accepted that it was my fault," she said. Now one controversial moment regarding her weight loss was in 1988 when she unveiled unveiled her new slim figure by taking off an oversized coat and wheeling out a wagon holding 67 pounds of animal fat, the amount she had lost in less than 5 months. Now, the episode drew huge attention, earning the highest ratings in the show's history. However, years later, Oprah expressed regret about it, stating that it was simply an ego trip and admitting that she eventually regained all the weight back. Then there's the fact for the past 10 years, Oprah has worked with Weight Watchers, a diet program that was all the craze. Although it has been criticized by a lot of people as being harmful and promoting disordered eating. With some people not liking her promoting this, she then came out in 2023 saying that she was using an unnamed weight loss medication, and that's how she was able to lose a lot of weight. So it wasn't the Weight Watchers, which made a lot of people feel lied to. Then in 2024, she decided to step down and stop working with Weight Watchers altogether. Many people are saying that she's a sellout and that everything she's ever stood for was a lie. And hey, I can't blame people for being upset over this. It's very likely that she's taking Ozempic or something Ozempic adjacent, which is actually a medication for people who are diabetics. A lot of normal everyday people can't afford to take this medication, and they also don't want to take it from people who really need it, aka diabetics. Now, I understand why people are so upset about this, as Oprah claimed for years that a specific weight loss program was working for her. She's lost a bunch of weight, and then she reveals it was all due to medication. I'm glad she's happy with her body, but it now feels like she tricked a lot of people into believing something that will never come true, and it's just scummy. Then there was her whole Maui fund. In August 2023, a series of wildfires broke out in Hawaii, predominantly on the island of Maui. The wind-driven fires prompted evacuations and caused widespread damage, ending the lives of at least 102 people and leaving 2 people missing. Now, after this happened, Oprah and The Rock came together to create their own fund to help victims, called People's Fund of Maui. It was to distribute cash directly to people who were affected by the wildfires on the Hawaiian island. Now, the 2 celebrities contributed an initial payment of $10 million to the fund and invited the public to contribute their own donations for the rest of it. Now, after it was launched, people started questioning why the celebs were asking everyday people to donate instead of their celebrity friends, or even them just funding it themselves. I mean, Oprah's net worth at the time was $2.5 billion. Yes, billion with a B. She could have given away so much of her own money, but she decided to ask others for help. Now, people started calling them out on social media, and instead of taking this critique, Oprah hit back and made things worse. All the online conversations being slammed, lies, conspiracy theories really took the focus off of what was the most important thing, and that was the people of Maui, she said on a CBS Mornings appearance. I was on the ground talking to lots of people, trying to figure out how do I best help. Now, the 2 celebrities thought about how they have both given to charity their whole lives and felt like starting with $10 million worked because it was enough to kick things off before opening the Maui Wildfires Fund up to people who wanted to help but didn't know how to. I was so excited about it. Then I got up the next morning and saw all this vitriol, and I was like, whoa, what happened here, she said. But yeah, people were angry, which again, I honestly don't blame them for. One person on TikTok called their video tone deaf, while another said, we can't afford it, but you can. And Oprah has also been called out recently for how she's treated her guests on her show, and one that stands out a lot is Michael Jackson. According to Oprah's website, 90 million people watched her February 1993 live primetime interview with Michael Jackson. It was his first interview in 14 years, and he used the opportunity to dispel rumors and explain the changes in his lifestyle and appearance. Michael said that his noticeable and gradually lightening skin wasn't the result of cosmetic and elective skin bleaching, but the effect of a genetic skin disease called vitiligo. Now, he also opened up about the mistreatment he suffered as a child at the hands of his father and former manager Joe Jackson, but one thing Michael refused to discuss with Oprah was his love life. He claimed to be dating Brooke Shields, and Oprah flat out asked him some very personal questions. I'm a gentleman, that's something that's private, he said. You can call me old-fashioned if you want, but to me that's very personal. Oprah then sensationalized a legal proceeding that Michael was going through, and his brother Randy Jackson came out and claimed that Oprah was airing episodes related to his brother's trial in 2005 to make him look bad in the public eye. Randy said that he believed that Oprah wanted to see Michael in jail, and apparently when Michael saw this, it was the last straw. It was then made clear that she could not and would not be trusted again. But after Michael passed away, Oprah was given access to Michael's former home after being granted an interview with his mother Catherine and his 3 children. Many people in the Jackson family were aware of Michael's distrust in Oprah, and they didn't want this interview to happen, and they especially disapproved of Oprah being allowed to film inside his home and conduct his kid's first interview ever, as Michael didn't like them being in the public eye. A source said Janet Jackson is furious. She thinks Oprah took advantage of Michael's children for TV ratings. Janet told her Michael would be heartsick that Oprah used his kids as pawns, they said to the National Enquirer at the time. The two women had a blistering blow-up during a telephone call on the day that the show was taped. When Oprah made it clear that she was going ahead with the interview, Janet screamed, "Oprah, you make me sick." Now, other family members of Michael have spoken out about their disdain for Oprah, and it seemed like Oprah was just trying to be an opportunist and didn't really care about anyone's feelings.
Well, Aliyah Baldwin threw a used tampon at a woman. Page 6 was the first to confirm on Friday that she, a whole 31 years old, was arrested at Club Elan in Savannah, Georgia. Upon police arrival, the bar manager informed officers that Aliyah had allegedly attacked multiple employees as they were escorting her out of the bar after she vomited in a restroom where she wasn't supposed to be. Police then watched security footage which depicted Aliyah forcing her way into the locked bathroom and a bar employee telling her she can't be in there. He's seen pointing to the public restroom directly next to the employee one. Following this, a bartender gets involved as Aliyah is throwing up, visibly telling her she needs to leave the bathroom. Police report that's when the used tampon thrown at the bartender, prompting Aliyah to be forcefully removed from the bar by security. According to the police report, a bouncer had Aliyah in a bear hug as he removed her, but when instructed by the bar manager to release her, she turned around and kicked him in the groin. This is confirmed by security camera footage, and that she also ripped a handful of hair from another bouncer's head in the process. After being thrown out of the bar, police report Aliyah herself called them. She called the police to report being forcefully and wrongfully removed from a club. Police show up, report that she initially denied forcing her way into the bathroom, only stating she needed to use the restroom and throw up to change her tampon. So, Aliyah, who's a mother of one, is arrested almost immediately and faced multiple charges of simple assault for throwing the tampon, 1 count of battery for allegedly kicking the bouncer, and another count of battery for pulling another one of the bouncer's hair out. She's also charged with criminal trespassing for refusing to vacate the club. Rapper Killer Mike was booked on misdemeanor battery charge following his citizen's arrest at the 2024 Grammys. He was released from jail about an hour after he'd been booked, police records show. Mike had allegedly just knocked down a security officer after he did not move fast enough in the pouring rain. Footage obtained by TMZ shows the aftermath of the alleged altercation, in which other security personnel can be seen trying to stop Killer Mike from getting away, and a later clip of him cuffed and being led to a Grammy back room to await police arrival, with a source telling Hollywood Reporter his detainment was big nothing and he would likely be released within a few hours, which he was. "I greatly appreciate the concern and support, but I am better than okay," Killer Mike said in a statement obtained by Page 6 the following Monday evening. "As you can imagine, there was a lot going on and there was some confusion around which door my team and I should enter. We experienced an overzealous security guard, and my team and I have the utmost confidence that I will ultimately be cleared of any wrongdoing. Until that time, keep listening to Michael and keep going after your dreams." He makes that reference because before the chaos ensued, Killer Mike had accepted all 3 Grammys he was nominated for this year: Best Rap Album for his 6th studio album, Michael, Best Rap Performance, and Best Rap Song for his hit Scientists and Engineers. Tekashi 6ix9ine was in bars once again. What's new? Authorities in the Dominican Republic arrested the US rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine on January 18th of 2024 for charges of domestic violence. A judge following Thursday conditionally released the US rapper, who's been ordered to pay $510 deposit, undergo government counseling, and then meet with authorities every 2 months until they conclude their investigation into the allegations he harmed his girlfriend, a Dominican rapper known as Yalarin. The judge, Fatima Velos, issued protection orders for both sides of the couple, however, because Yalin was in jail on charges for harming Tekashi not too long ago. And it's honestly his second time that he's being arrested in the Dominican Republic as well. The first being in October after he was accused of harming a local producer after he and his partner were recording at the studio. And then everybody knows how Hernandez was previously accused in the US of using a violent gang as a personal hit squad, but then he turned snitch and avoided jail time. You can call him your fool because Darius Rucker was arrested. The Hootie and Blowfish frontman was taken into custody and booked on 3 misdemeanor charges, including 2 counts of simple possession/casual exchange of controlled substance and 1 count of violation of state's vehicle registration law. Police pulled over Rucker, 57, for driving with an expired registration tag, according to TMZ. Once they reached his vehicle, however, police officers smelled skunk in the air and asked Rucker if he'd been smoking. Rucker claimed he had not, but he may have smoked the previous day, and then naturally when the Popos searched the singer's car, they discover a ganja pen as well as 14 unmarked pills, which Rucker claimed were his girlfriend's, and then the authorities claimed they test the 14 pills and identify them as a controlled substance. So, Rucker is released shortly after he posts a $10,500 bail, only to be clowned online by his ex-girlfriend Kate Quigley, who subtweeted him, "Mood when you hear your D-bag ex got arrested, #karma." Diddy hasn't been arrested yet, but we all know it's coming. What we didn't expect was his son Justin Combs' arrest. Diddy's eldest son Justin Combs is arrested on charges of DUI early in the 2024 season. Having run a red light and being pulled over, the police officer smelled liquor on the 29-year-old's breath and proceeded to have him perform a sobriety test, which he failed. Combs is taken into custody after the officer determined there's probable cause for him to be arrested for suspected DUI and was then booked into LA County Jail in connection with a misdemeanor DUI charge with a bail set at $5,000. Combs was released of his own recognize on Sunday afternoon. Justin is Diddy's eldest son with Misa Hylton. He played football in college at UCLA and he graduated from university in 2016 with a degree in business admin. He's pursued several business ventures in the entertainment industry over the years, but failed those the same way he did his sobriety test. Outer Banks star Austin North was arrested for allegedly attacking employees at the UMC hospital in Las Vegas on February 15th, 2024. According to TMZ, North, 27, allegedly went out of control in the ER department that Tuesday night to the point where he had to be restrained. When the authorities arrived, they interviewed victims including several nurses and a phlebotomist who claimed they were attacked by the Netflix star quite literally out of nowhere. North allegedly punched the nurse in the head, pushed the phlebotomist onto a table, and then shoved another nurse in the face. The phlebotomist told police they then hit North in the head in self-defense with a nearby medical tray, which allowed security officers to restrain North. Austin was only able to hit one of them before they successfully did so. TMZ reports that North was handcuffed to a gurney until cops arrived and read him his Miranda rights before they arrested him for battery, which he has since bonded out of. In his mugshot obtained by TMZ, you can actually see cuts and bruises across his face, forehead, ear area, likely caused by the medical tray. North broke his silence on the attack the following Thursday night, revealing he has little to no recollection of the event, saying, "I'm deeply upset by the events that took place in the Las Vegas this past week," he wrote on Instagram. "My friend drove me to the hospital because I thought I was having a heart attack. Several tests were taken, including blood, which came back negative for any substances or alcohol in my system." He continued, "I was having a severe anxiety attack. I have little memory of the event that day at the hospital, and I have utmost respect for healthcare workers and hospital staff." Speaking of rough mugshot, you should see Zachary Ty Bryan's most recent. He's been arrested again, this time for DUI in California. Arrest records from the Riverside County Sheriff's Office seen by Page 6 show police booked the home improvement alum 42 into John Benoit Detention Center on charges of felony DUI with at least 3 felony priors and misdemeanor contempt of court. He was released the same day on a $50,000 bail and has a court hearing scheduled on April 23rd. TMZ was the first to break the news of the arrest. Reports of the arrest were first put into motion when officers conducted a traffic stop shortly after 2 a.m. local time, having spotted a vehicle they suspected of being involved in a traffic collision hit and run. After pulling it over and speaking to the driver, who's later identified as Brian, he showed signs of impairment which prompted the arrest. The former Outer Limits star arrest is just the latest in a series of his criminal busts. I hope chipped beef pairs well with toilet wine, because that's all Darnell Super Chef Ferguson's gonna be drinking pretty soon. Super Chef Ferguson was arrested for burglary, strangulation, and threatening, Page 6 confirmed on January 10th of 2024. The Food Network star is also facing misdemeanor charges of assault, menacing, criminal mischief, and theft receipt of a stolen credit or debit card. In the police documents, an unnamed woman, now revealed to actually be his estranged wife, Tahada Ferguson, said Darnell broke into her Louisville home on January 2nd and started just punching the walls before grabbing her by the neck. He then allegedly put pressure and then threatened to kill her before making her lose consciousness. Once she regained consciousness, she claimed Ferguson pulled her pants off and demanded to see her groin, saying some bonkers things, and she manages to scramble away and call authorities. The TV personality leaves shortly after and takes her credit cards, debit cards, and her ID with him. The popular Louisville chef, who shares 8 kids with his wife Tahada, has been a staple of the Food Network for years, and now Page 6 confirmed he's taken into custody and arraigned, pleading not guilty, and his bond is set at $10,000. An emergency protection order was also issued for Tahada. Arnold Schwarzenegger was detained at a Munich airport early January for 3 hours. Page 6 can confirm this. The star was detained at customs for, and I quote, traveling with a watch he owns that he quote might be auctioning at his charity in Austria. Munich customs spokesman Tom Meister told Bild, the outlet that broke the news, that their agency had initiated criminal tax proceedings because the watch should have been registered since it was an import. The piece of jewelry in question, reportedly from from the Swiss brand Audemars Piguet and is worth more than $21,000. Schwarzenegger was never asked to fill out a declaration form, and he answered every question from custom officers honestly. He cooperated at every step, even though it was, quote, an incompetent shakedown, a total comedy of errors that would make a very funny cop movie, the source adds. And in a photo obtained by Bild, he looks pretty jovial about it all. According to Bild, Schwarzenegger initially took the interrogation fairly calmly, but then the time and the procedure got on his nerves. Schwarzenegger agreed to prepay potential taxes on the watch even though it was his personal property, but officers allegedly then had issues using a credit card machine for up for an hour. And last up, sadly, Tiffany Haddish, who you may recall got arrested in Beverly Hills in November when cops claimed at the time that she was found asleep at the wheel of her car, which was stopped awkwardly on the street, partially jutting out into oncoming lanes. The Girls Trip star was originally charged with 2 DUI charges after she fell asleep at the wheel on her way home after volunteering and performing at the Laugh Factory Annual's free Thanksgiving feast. She was out in record time and back to doing a stand-up performance at the Laugh Factory in Long Beach, California the very next night. And she poked fun at the situation, stating, "I had prayed to God to send me a man with a job, career, preferably in a uniform, and I answered my prayers." Haddish pleaded no contest on February 2nd of 2024 to the reckless driving charge known as wet reckless as part of a plea deal related to that arrest in November, which California Vehicle Code shows is reduced charge of reckless driving while there was consumption of an alcoholic beverage or ingestion or administration of a substance by the defendant in connection to the offense. As part of the deal, Haddish is placed on a summary probation for a year. She's ordered to complete driver's education, but this isn't to say she's totally out of the woods. Her Georgia DUI case is still ongoing because in January 2022, she was arrested on suspicion of DUI then and taken into Peachtree City police officers in Georgia. After that arrest in California, the Georgia prosecutors filed a motion to modify Haddish's bond conditions to include a request for the court to prohibit her from drugs and alcohol, according to the court document obtained. This case is still in motion, with Haddish planning to fight the filed one. It makes sense she'd want these DUI cases to be resolved the way the LA one was, because if she ended up getting convicted for both, it would have meant jail time. Now, that's not happening.
Starting off with a man living up to his name, Jonathan Majors has turned out to be a major disappointment. His Hollywood career was very promising, including multiple blockbusters and hit TV shows, most notably Creed 3 and Marvel's Loki. His role in the Marvel Cinematic Universe was Kang the Conqueror, the next major Marvel supervillain. He was featured in both seasons of Loki and Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, which is set for release in 2026. However, March of 2023 has shifted those plans. Jonathan Majors' girlfriend at the time found text on his phone suggesting infidelity, which led to a heated argument between the two. The disagreement turned violent and Majors was arrested and later convicted with 2 offenses, both assault. His sentencing has been postponed until April of this year, but was supposed to be for this month. Since his arrest, he has been removed from multiple projects, including the MCU. It's unclear to the public what Marvel plans to do with the character of Kang. They may choose to recast the role or possibly alter their timeline and erase Kang altogether. But one thing's for sure, we probably won't be seeing him anywhere for a while. Next up is another hit TV show star, Percy Hines White. If this name is not familiar, that might be because Percy's career was basically over before it even started. White was set to become a teenage heartthrob after starring in the Netflix hit Wednesday. The show released in November of 2022, but it was only a short 2 months later, in January of 2023, that Percy was cancelled after being accused of assaulting multiple girls. A user on the social media site X alleged that White, at age 17 to 20, would purposefully intimidate girls aged 13 to 16 before pressuring them into getting with him. Shortly after this user came forward, many other girls shared similar stories. It later surfaced that White was allegedly also insulting his female fan base through an X account, and video evidence of White using sensitive words was the last nail in his coffin. Percy was set to star in a film with Wednesday co-star Jenna Ortega, but it's currently unclear when or if the film will ever make it to the silver screen. Similar to Jonathan Majors, it's currently not known if White's character in Wednesday will be recast or written off. With a hopeful season 2 release date of late 2024 or early 2025, fans of the mysterious and macabre should be expecting confirmation soon. Ever since the infamous Oscars slap, Will Smith's career has taken an intense nosedive. Once a coveted actor starring in hits like Men in Black, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and The Pursuit of Happiness, Will Smith now seems to only show up in headlines. With the new projects attached to his name, it seems like Smith is taking a backseat for some, working in more behind-the-scenes roles like a producer, while the films in which he is a lead actor for aren't receiving the praise they once did. Box office lows are not the only repercussions from the 2022 Oscars. Will Smith received a 10-year ban from attending the event. The whole reason everything happened was because Chris Rock made a joke at the Oscars about Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved head. Jada has a hair loss disease called alopecia, so it was an unwelcome joke, which is why Will walked up there and started yelling after. However, at the end of last year, Jada is promoting her memoir Worthy. She reveals that at the time of the slap, her and Will had been separated for 6 years, and that definitely makes the whole situation a tiny bit worse. Even though it's been about 2 years since the slap heard around the world, Will Smith is still not in the public's favor and therefore not at the top of any casting list. Ariana Grande is a tricky case. Right now, she is in a lot of hot water due to her relationship with Ethan Slater. The pair met on the set of the Wicked movie, her as Glinda and him as Bach. At the time of filming, both were married and he had a young child. Both parties insist that they didn't get together until after leaving their partners. However, the messy timeline of it all makes it seem suspicious. Filming officially wrapped this January and started way back in December of 2022. Grande had apparently split from her husband in January 2023, and she and Ethan were reported to already be together in March. However, in May, Ethan posted a tribute to his wife on his Instagram account. By July, Ethan and his wife have allegedly split and Ariana is now fully in the picture. After July, the pair are seen out together in Disney World, at Slater's Broadway shows, and out to dinner in New York. People have been trolling this couple for months, and with Wicked releasing later this year and a press tour on the horizon, that likely has no end in sight. Ariana recently released a song called Yes And that is doing pretty well, but lots of people find some of her lyrics to be in poor taste as they are referencing her relationship with Ethan. So even though she has a highly anticipated movie and album releasing later this year, the messy details of her personal life are slowly dimming the spotlight surrounding the star. Doja Cat was on top of the world for a while there, but now seems to have fallen off, and it's not the first time. Back in 2018, she was exposed for some homophobic tweets she'd made in 2015, and if you're sitting there thinking that was so long ago, don't worry, her apology was worse than the tweet was. The original tweet was a slur, and then she defended herself by saying she uses the slur all the time, and just because she uses it doesn't mean she hates gay people. Okay, she re-apologized after that one. It's unclear if Doja Cat wants to be famous. On some of her Instagram lives and social media accounts, she has shown her upset at fans enjoying her music. Most people don't like being told that what they enjoy sucks, but most fans aren't usually told that by the person who made the thing. Doja fans didn't take it well, and the singer lost almost 500,000 followers. Doja Cat also poked fun at her devoted fan base by making fun of the name they chose for themselves, which is Kittens. Fans were quick to point out to her that you shouldn't bite the hand that feeds you. Matt Rife, if you haven't heard, is very much out. He was a super popular comedian that initially rose to fame on the popular social media app TikTok, and then received a Netflix special premiering in November of 2023. That's where the trouble started. His special, Natural Selection, opens with a joke about domestic No thanks. Yeah, that so-called joke didn't go over well with the internet, with many people asking why Matt felt the need to be punching down instead of up. His apology for the joke was shocking, to say the least. On his Instagram story, he posted the text, "If you've ever been offended by a joke I've told, here's a link to my official apology," beside a link that read, "Tap to solve the issue." The link was not to a genuine heartfelt apology, no, it was to a health website, specifically to a page where you can buy special needs helmets. Why? As this was unfolding, there were a bunch of people online weighing in on the issue. One was a little 6-year-old boy who just said that Matt was mean to girls, and Matt decided this little boy was who he wanted to go up against, and commented, "Santa Claus isn't real. Your mom buys you presents with the money she makes on OF. Good luck." The comment was deleted, but screenshots live forever. Somehow topping Matt Rife's disaster of an apology is Colleen Ballinger on the ukulele. That makes the list for top 10 sentences I never thought I'd say. Colleen was really popular YouTuber from about 2010 to last year, really. She had a Netflix special too, and her channel was mainly known for posting videos using the character Miranda Sings. The Sings persona is a satire of bad singers with big egos. The irony. The character was super popular and her career took off. She was most popular with preteens and teenagers. As early as 2020, allegations were coming out about Colleen creating inappropriate relationships with fans, but everything really came crashing down down in 2023. More allegations were coming out, screenshots were being shared, and pretty soon Colleen's live shows and podcasts were being cancelled. This is very serious stuff, and Colleen decided best way to address it was on the ukulele. While singing, she reveals that she was advised by her team not to speak on the issue, but they didn't say she couldn't sing. The video wasn't received well. A few months later, she posted another apology for the song. This time, that one was just talking. She's still vlogging, just not to as big of an audience, and there are no live shows on the horizon for her. She may be difficult, but boy can she sing. Not talking about Colleen anymore, we are moving on to Lea Michele, the Fanny Bryce of Broadway, the Rachel Berry of Glee. She has got quite the reputation. She allegedly made life on the set of her shows difficult, allegedly bullying castmates and threatening to file someone's wig. Fortunately for Lea, she has an incredible voice and a pretty iconic past role, so when it came time to stunt cast Funny Girl on Broadway, top choice. She can sing the role super well, plus her character in Glee was like zeroed in on playing Fanny Bryce, so why not bring that into real life? For full circle moments, sell tickets. It seems like the next steps for Lea Michele will be onto another Broadway stage instead of back to the silver screen, which makes sense. Many former cast members from Michelle's Glee days have come forward to express how inappropriately Lea behaved on set, so I don't find it hard to believe that she's not being seen on any more of them. Back in the spring last year, she teased that she knows what her next Broadway project will be, only there hasn't been any more info since May or June, so no one is currently sure what's happening there. The story that still shocks me to my core is that of Armie Hammer. He was really on track to making it big. He was in the smash hit film Call Me By Your Name and had the Hollywood star look. Why, oh why, did he have to, trigger warning, enjoy people on plates? Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to go within a 100-foot radius of this man, let alone working closely with him on a film set. Ever since the allegations surfaced in 2021, this man has rightfully not known peace or been seen on the screen. It wasn't just the enjoyable thing that he was accused of, but also just general abuse towards his partners, multiple partners. This all makes my skin crawl, I hate it so much. Probably the strangest bit of dark humor from 2022, a year after the allegations, was the film Bones and All. So Call Me By Your Name starred Armie Hammer, Chalamet, and was directed by Luca Guadagnino. Armie's condition is revealed in 2021, and then the next year, a film is released about his condition, directed by the man who made Armie's most notable film and starring his former co-star. I wish I could have seen his face when he found that out, but I think I'm done with this one. I seriously might throw up. Kanye West has been on the sidelines of Hollywood for a while now. There is no denying the man's talent and musical ability, but he is yet another example of an artist's personal life and choices hurting their career and making people touch them with a 10-foot pole. The downfall started a long time ago, but some highlights in Kanye stating that slavery was a choice, his anti-Semitic remarks, and recent album controversy. His anti-Semitism has led to him being banned from various social media sites and even streaming platforms. Kanye recently released his new album, and it was apparently pretty hard to get out there. Kanye allegedly went to multiple distributors and was repeatedly turned away. The new album, Vultures 1, features many just horrible lyrics, but a large reason as to why it was pulled is because of copyright infringement. Kanye requested permission from multiple artists to sample their tracks for his new album. Upon receiving many no's, he did it anyway. Most people said no because they do not want to be associated with all the negative things Kanye has said and done, so when the album dropped, they were quick to complain and get the songs removed. The album is back up currently, so we'll see how long it lasts.
Number 10, Ezra Miller. The Flash star has made themselves unhireable after a string of arrests in Hawaii, which caused quite a stir on social media and turned the internet against them. It's easy to see why, as their latest arrest on the 19th of April was for second-degree attack. Police say that around 1:30 a.m. the actor was asked to leave a venue and quickly became irate, reportedly throwing a chair which struck a 26-year-old female on the forehead. In fact, the police say that they have received at least 10 calls about the actor since the 7th of March, with complaints ranging from filming people at a gas station to refusing to leave the sidewalk area of a restaurant. Miller has also been charged with disorderly conduct and harassment after an altercation the previous night at a karaoke bar in Hilo. Miller has since been released from jail pending further investigation, but let's just say that it doesn't look good. Number 9, Will Smith. The actor shocked fans, viewers, and Chris Rock when he walked onto the stage at the 2022 Academy Awards and slapped the comedian across the face, then casually just walked back to his seat. The incident occurred while Rock was introducing the award for Best Documentary, and he joked about Jada Pinkett Smith's haircut. It was then that Smith silently got up on stage, walked over to Rock, and slapped him across the face on live television. The shocking moment not only got him banned from the Oscars for the next 10 years, but has already cost Smith several projects which have either been cancelled altogether or shelved in the fallout from that infamous slap. For example, Apple ended up delaying the release of his much-awaited film Anticipation following the incident. Netflix also canned a sequel to his 2017 action film Bright, although they claim that this cancellation was unrelated to the slap, and there are also additional projects Smith had lined up that have been getting smacked down, leading many to believe that his career will never fully recover. Number 8. Chrissy Teigen. 35-year-old cookbook author faced heavy criticism this year following reports of cyberbullying. Many celebrities came forward to accuse her, including Lindsay Lohan, Farrah Abraham, and Project Runway star Michael Costello. Teigen publicly apologized for her past behavior multiple times, including a lengthy post on Medium, which she shared on social media. She also opened up about being put in the cancel club following the controversy. Teigen wrote on Instagram in July, "Going outside sucks and just doesn't feel right. Being at home alone with my mind makes my depressed head race." She ended her post jokingly asking if there was a cancel club reunion that she could attend. From there, Teigen was dealt a huge blow after reports circulated that retail giant Bloomingdale's had pulled out of a deal that they had in place with her. Macy's also said that it was not actively selling her cookbook, Cravings, on their website, and it's difficult to see how her career will recover from such bad publicity. Number 7. Chris Noth. Following the release of City spin-off and Just Like That, two women came forward to accuse the actor of two separate incidents of SA that occurred between 2004 and 2015. The next day, a third woman, an actress and director Zoe Lister-Jones, accused the actor of misconduct on the set of Law and Order. Noth has since been dropped by his talent agency and will not be appearing in the upcoming episodes of The Equalizer. The actor denied the allegations in a statement to Us Weekly, saying, quote, "The encounters were consensual." But it was much too late, because eventually his scenes in And Just Like That were deleted, making his character's death scene his final appearance in the series. And that seems like it's pretty much it for his career in Hollywood. Number 6. Drew Barrymore. Drew faced intense blowback for her decision to resume taping her talk show despite the months-long writer's strike that was going on this year. And this is what made her wildly unpopular. According to SAG-AFTRA rules, as long as hosts or guests don't discuss or promote struck work, then she would have been in the clear, since the network code agreement allows daytime hosts to perform hosting duties. But the thing is that her show operates with union writers, so new episodes would have required moving forward without their writers on staff. At the time, the WGA condemned her decision. They said Drew Barrymore should not be on the air while her writers are on strike fighting for a fair deal. In reality, shows like this cannot operate without writing, and that is struck work. But what really got people angry about this was all the hypocrisy, seeing that back in May, Drew stepped down as host of the MTV Movie and TV Awards in a show of support and solidarity to the striking writers. At the time, she said, "I have listened to the writers, and in order to fully respect them, I will pivot from hosting the MTV Movie and TV Awards live in solidarity with the strike." But then only a few months later, it seemed as though she had gone back on her stance, which is why she was immediately labeled a scab. Number 5. Selena Gomez. The actress and singer completely lost her cool when fans started attacking her new boyfriend Benny Blanco. Now she got herself in hot water for defending him and going on an embarrassing Instagram rant professing her love for him. So all of this crazy drama started when she confirmed that she's been secretly dating the music producer for about 6 months, and apparently no one knew a thing about it. But as soon as she revealed their relationship on Instagram, her own fans started attacking her in the comment section, and things got heated very quickly. People accused Benny of not treating Selena well and disrespecting her in the past. They dug up an interview that he did in 2020 where he called Selena a cookie cutter pop artist while praising her ex-boyfriend Justin Bieber. Oprah. And if you watch this interview, it's pretty obvious that he doesn't think too highly of her as an artist, because he also makes fun of her makeup line and insinuates that she's just not a serious musician. But when fans brought this to Selena's attention, she got extremely defensive and started ranting about how she just doesn't care. She wrote, "He is still better than anyone I've ever been with. Facts." She also told another upset fan who said that Benny has put a curse on her that he has been the best thing that's ever happened to her. And the fighting did not stop there. From that point on, it only got worse. Number 4, Drake Bell. The former Nickelodeon star caused a lot of panic earlier in the year when he was declared missing and endangered by police. He was then found the following day and claimed that he had just left his phone in the car for the night and that's why he wasn't answering. But this whole incident had people wondering, is Drake Bell really okay? He had fans worrying about his mental health with all of his recent antics. Back in December, he was spotted inhaling substances out of a balloon while his son was in the backseat of his car. Eyewitnesses said that he was inhaling and deflating this balloon for more than half an hour while his son seemed to be asleep. A couple weeks later, he checked into rehab to try to get treatment. Soon after that, his wife of 5 years announced that she was leaving him and moving to Florida with their son. She revealed that she was filing for divorce, and a source told Page 6 that she had enough of her husband's antics. Quote, "They had some incredible times before, but he needs to focus on being healthy, and they'll always be great co-parents in the future." So for a lot of fans, the unraveling of Drake's public persona is very upsetting to see. Number 3, Amanda Bynes. Although the actress has been out of the spotlight for several years now, she resurfaced on social media last month and looks completely different, leaving fans to wonder what on earth was going on with Amanda Bynes. In the latest video she posted, it is clear that she now looks completely unrecognizable. Amanda recently went on Instagram Live to talk about the release of her new podcast, and fans were shocked with her platinum blonde mullet, blue eyebrows, septum ring, and the heart-shaped tattoo that she had on her face. While it's true that she has been away from the spotlight for a long time, she looks like a totally different person now, especially if you compare it to the way that she used to look in the 2000s, back when she was still acting. So she's clearly doing better these days, considering that she is trying to get herself back out there. But that's also come with a lot of hardships and after a long battle with her mental health. And while a lot of fans are dying to support her comeback, there are some who are genuinely concerned about her. Many were asking where and when she seemed to get treatment, and they even compared her meltdown to the same one that Britney Spears went through. One user commented that it's sad to see the life gone from her eyes. So it's safe to say that there has been just as much positive feedback as there has been negative. Number 2, Garrett Hedlund. The star of Friday Night Lights, Tron Legacy, and the United States vs. Billie Holiday was sadly arrested for public intoxication after he created a ruckus in Franklin County, Tennessee, and he was eventually released on a $2,000 bond. The man who called the authorities on the star also claimed that he attempted to jump out of a car earlier in the day. The arrest occurred just one day after the news broke that Garrett had split from his girlfriend at the time, Emma Roberts, with whom he shares a 2-year-old son named Rhodes. At the time, he was also going through a series of other legal issues, and he was previously arrested on 2 DUI charges in February back in 2020. He was arraigned the same month and was released after posting a $100,000 bond. Garrett was then sued for negligence after allegedly causing a head-on collision because he passed out behind the wheel of his car and he ran a solid red light at a high rate of speed. His blood alcohol level tested at 0.36%, which is 4 times the legal limit. There were also open bottles of alcoholic beverages in the car that he tried to discard before the police arrived. So clearly he was still coping with the stress of the impending lawsuit. And coming in at number 1, Doja Cat. The singer made headlines for all the wrong reasons when she started beefing with Stranger Things star Noah Schnapp, all for revealing a private conversation where she asked to be hooked up with his Stranger Things co-star Joseph Quinn. A screenshot of their exchange went viral after it was shared by Noah in a deleted TikTok, much to Doja's annoyance. The 26-year-old singer then went live on TikTok, calling the 17-year-old's actions degrading, exploitative, and super embarrassing. She claimed that what he did was so unbelievably socially unaware and whack. Even went as far to call him a snake, saying that he shared information information that she did not feel comfortable with him sharing. So how do you think people responded to this drama? Well, everyone was surprised with just how much Doja blamed Noah, considering his age and the fact that in previous tweets she has openly expressed her attraction towards Joseph, but in a lighthearted way. People largely supported Noah in the feud, no surprise there, and Doja ended up losing 200,000 Instagram followers in the week after she posted that video.
Number 10. Percy Hines White. With the Netflix series Wednesday premiered last year, the world collectively agreed that it was fantastic. It was dark, fun, mysterious, and it was well written for the most part. The only side plot that really added nothing to the show was the love triangle between Wednesday, the coffee shop boy, and Percy Hines White. Percy is a young up-and-coming actor who's appeared in plenty of TV shows and films in his short career. Wednesday skyrocketed him to a new level of recognition, which might be the cause of the allegations that were thrown his way earlier this year. An unnamed woman claimed that he mistreated her when they were living in Toronto. In June, he posted on his Instagram telling people that he needed to clear something up. According to Percy, he doesn't actually know who this woman is, and because of her misinformation, his family and friends were doxxed and received threats to end their lives. He continued to say that in addition to people using underage photos and examples of him acting in character to present him as hateful, he concluded his post by saying that the misinformation was distressing, as well as thanked those who supported his efforts. After the hashtag #CancelPercy gained momentum on Twitter, the accusations began to grow. So much hate just from a rumor started on Twitter when there's no legal accusations, proof of anything, it's just fans gone wild. Number 9. Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart was set to host the Oscars back in 2019, but he was fired last minute after a stand-up bit and a series of tweets had resurfaced that painted him as anti-LGBTQ+. In 2009, Kevin sent out a series of tweets that contained jokes about his feelings about his son potentially coming out in the future, making comments that he would break a dollhouse over his head if he saw him playing with it. He said some harsher stuff that I will not repeat and no one should look up because it's a little bit rough, and I can understand why a lot of people found the comments rude and damaging, because they were. At the time, the comments didn't go unnoticed, but at the time they flew under the radar in terms of media coverage. He then repeated the jokes on stage in his Seriously Funny special. There are also a few homophobic jokes written into the script of the film Get Hard, which I have seen, and I do agree it's a little bit much. In 2015, when asked about the tweets, he told people that he would not be repeating the jokes that he made today, but that the only reason was because the times had been too sensitive. When he was announced as a host in 2018, the internet put a case together as to why he shouldn't be the host. The Oscars were forced to fire him in the role due to the alarming number of hate mail they were receiving on a daily basis. Before they actually let him go, they did give him an option to either apologize and own up or be let go. When Hart released a statement on Instagram, he decided to pass on an apology because he had apparently addressed it several times and acknowledged the rights and wrongs of the incident. The statement only led to more online outrage and sparked a debate, but the next day he released a separate statement apologizing for his actions and words, and especially to the community he insulted. Number 8. Liam Neeson. Liam is a prolific actor. He might be a terrible dad on screen, but he is a great actor. Unfortunately, his acting skills were nowhere to be found when he was being interviewed by The Independent. As part of the interview, the conversation veered into life versus art, and if there was anything that had happened to him in his real life that influenced his film roles. This prompted Liam to tell the person interviewing him that he once walked the streets with a stabby-jabby pen for weeks, just hoping to take his anger out after someone close to him was physically mistreated by a person of color. Liam said that he was ashamed of his actions, but his remarks sparked widespread outrage. The interview was to promote the film Cold Pursuit, which is exactly what it sounds like, and the interviewer asked many questions, including how his character turns to anger, and he replied, "Something primal kicks in." He then went on a tangent about what one goes through when a family member close to you is hurt and there is nothing that can be done. He told a story that I can't repeat because of the heavy subject matter, but it was so intense that journalists interviewing him told BBC News that anyone hearing the thoughts he was reporting here would be shocked and appalled in many ways. He himself has said that he's ashamed to think of the way that he used to say and do things, and he is of course shocked at how awful he became. He received a ton of backlash, but so far he hasn't been cancelled. Number 7. Casey Affleck. Casey has had an interesting career. Being the brother of Ben Affleck has had its advantages. However, he was able to build a career for himself away from his brother to the point where he now has an Oscar for Manchester by the Sea. 1 year after he got that Oscar, he gave his first candid interview about the allegations that he had mistreated two women on the set of his independent film I'm Still Here. Affleck directed and produced the mockumentary and admitted in an interview that the teleprompter glitched and now it is a blue screen. Affleck directed and produced the mockumentary and admitted in an interview that the set was unprofessional. He admitted that he was the main contributor to the situation and took responsibilities for his actions. He then admitted that he made major mistakes and used poor judgment. It was one of the first movies that he had ever actually directed, and he was unsure of what his role was, according to himself. Meanwhile, the actual allegations range from Casey sneaking into bed with a woman to himself and the star of the film, Joaquin Phoenix, locking themselves in a hotel room with some ladies of the night. Affleck denied the allegations for a long time, but after admitting to his misdeeds, nothing really happened. Like, he was canceled in the eyes of the media and by his fans, but he still works, he writes, he produces films to this day. It's in smaller capacities, but still. Number 6, Tom Cruise. While Tom may be an action movie star and was once a young Hollywood heartthrob, he actually has a massive temper. According to both former assistants as well as several co-stars from his past, Cruise is a regular toddler and is known to throw tantrums, being set off by small things. His former manager, Eileen Berlin, presented him with a gift on his 19th birthday. She gave him an album of teen magazine articles that were written about him, and apparently that set him off. He told his manager that he considered himself an adult, not a teen idol, and then whipped the book in her face. Another example of Tom's aggression was on display during the filming of the sequel to Top Gun, Maverick. During this time, Tom and the rest of the film crew were tasked to film on an actual aircraft carrier that was still in use by the military. One of the crew posted on Twitter calling out the audacity of Tom's behavior. He tweeted that Tom Cruise was actually on their ship, telling people not to talk or look at him. After a few choice words, the crewmate made it very clear that Tom would never be welcome aboard the vessel again. These are just 2 examples though. Tom has blown up on film crews several times in the past, to the point where his Mission Impossible 2 co-stars are constantly scared of him on set and what he may freak out about next. Number 5, Taylor Swift. Unpopular opinion here. Taylor's tyranny of torment must end now. Taylor Swift has made a name for herself as a person who thrives on the ending of a relationship. Since the late 2000s, Taylor has been making millions in the music industry. Her songs like Love Story and 22 are anthems to many. The catchy tunes tend to come from a place of so-called heartache, however. Taylor has thanked her exes on several occasions for inspiring the songs that made her who she is today. People like Tom Hiddleston, Harry Styles, Jake Gyllenhaal all have had a part to play in the inception of some true bops. The argument can and should be made that Taylor just needs to chill. She has made several songs that were good without the need to berate an ex, and some of those songs are pretty revealing. Imagine if after you broke up with someone, there was a song that popped up on your phone by U2 called Why They Left You. Number 4, Ariana Grande. Now, she's got one less problem without you, and honestly, we'd probably be fine with that. Ariana rose to fame on the hit Nick series Victorious before spinning off and becoming a pop singing sensation. While she may be a good girl and good impressionist on screen, just ask Jimmy Fallon, behind the scenes she's reportedly cold, quiet, and a lot like Taylor Swift, she hates on her exes through song. When she broke up with Saturday Night Live alumni Pete Davidson, she released a song called Pete Davidson, blatantly singing and trashing about her ex-fiance. The song made her a lot of money, of which Pete received none. If you're gonna trash someone, at least give them a little piece of that cheddar. On top of this, her behavior in general has been pretty chaotic. She once left a meet and greet because she didn't like the way the photos were turning out. Those people paid hundreds of dollars and she was like, yeah, thank you, next. In 2015, a video surfaced of Ariana visiting a Californian donut shop. The owners were beyond excited to see her until she began licking donuts and then putting them back on the shelves. According to the shop owners, those donuts were never paid for and they had to be thrown away. They really should have preserved them and sold them online though, because some people are weird. This incident also got her nixed from performing at a White House event despite multiple public apologies. The darkest of stories comes from a Hollywood insider though and has not been confirmed to be 100% true. The man in question was working with Ariana at a signing event and apparently she was all smiles until the event was over and they got in the elevator. According to them, her first words as the doors closed were, "I hope they all frickin' perish." Only she didn't say perish. Kinda makes you realize why Nickelodeon stars aren't as popular as adults. Number 3, Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey may echo in your skull around this time of year, but according to most, you should really keep that space in your head reserved for someone else, maybe Michael Bublé. Mariah has been known to be a bit of a diva over the years, apparently making out outlandish requests and taking part in some really strange moments. For instance, when giving birth to her children, Mariah had the doctors play a live version of her song Fantasy, so that her voice was the first thing that they heard in the world. Unfortunately, it was on shuffle and it played Bird as the Word. No, but that would have been fantastic and scarred them for life. She's walked out of presidential events because she wasn't the center of attention. She makes people speak to her with a whiteboard the night before performances to preserve her voice, and literally made someone roll out a red carpet for her when she walks out of vehicles. Like that lady from Guardians of the Galaxy. Just is literally someone's job to crouch down and go just all day. Needless to say, she's currently classified as a diva, but honestly we should classify her as canceled, because all I want for Christmas is a new song. Number 2, Jared Leto. Jared Leto is an interesting fellow. Hey, it rhymes. He started his own religious group. He brings a new meaning to the word method acting, and let's face it, he kinda sucks. Over the past few years, reports from Jared's fellow actors are anything but positive. When he was the Joker, he left his fellow castmates used adult devices, pig heads, and live snakes in their trailers as gifts. He was trying to stay method as the Joker, but anyone on the receiving end of those gifts just wish he would go away. On top of that, he's been known to stay in character, meaning that if he's playing someone who's angry or silent, that's how he's gonna be the entire time he's on set. This guy hasn't really been questioned for his actions at any point in recent history, only being called a weirdo, and then we just leave it at that. With his career still well on the rise, here's hoping Jared will eventually be called out for good and added to Hollywood's no-no list. Number 1, Morgan Freeman. Yes, the voice of God himself. Morgan Freeman has been a soothing soul for many, many years. To this day, families can hear Morgan narrate the world around them in an immersive 360 IMAX screen at the Science Center in Toronto. He may be a comfort to some, but according to a few women, Morgan is actually their nightmare. Morgan has been accused of inappropriate behavior on multiple occasions between 1991 and 2015. According to one production assistant from the film Going in Style, which is a bank heist movie featuring himself, Michael Caine, and Alan Arkin, Freeman subjected her to unwanted touching and comments about her figure and clothing on a near daily basis. Gentlemen, lend me your ear. This move is rarely well received. Get a new move. According to her, in one instance, Freeman attempted to lift her skirt and asked to see her underclothes. She was not the only one to speak out though. A senior member of the production staff on the film, Now You See Me Too, told CNN that Freeman harassed her and her female assistant on numerous occasions, making similar comments to figures and clothing. I could go on with more and more examples, but to save some time, I will boil it down for you. Morgan Freeman is a little creepy, and I'm sorry to say it, but this dude needs to retire as soon as possible.